Let's talk about. Sorry about this. I don't have a whole ton to say.
So Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Do you know
Do you remember the way?
Do you know who that is?
Last week, I was like, there's a bit of ethical questions about this movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like some of the critics might have agreed.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into that here. So Michael Jackson. You know who Michael Jackson is, don't
Never
you?
heard of him.
Yeah.
He's like a kindergarten teacher.
Someone said to me that he might be the most famous person who's ever lived outside of like Jesus, and I was like,
and Hitler.
yeah, and I was like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But so the movie came out, and the reviews from I think it's holding a 38% or something on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, but it's holding a 97 audience score.
What's this about?
Oh, I'll tell you what it's about, right? Which one do I agree with? They're both right.
Have you seen the film?
I've seen the film last night. They're both right.
Did you like the film?
Okay. Right? I was in the movie, right? And I was there and I was like, mid-movie, I was like, I think the critics are wrong on this one. Right? I was like, this is fun, man. I was almost dancing in the cinema, right? And everyone around me was loving it. They're all laughing, they're all like clapping and stuff. I've never seen that, and the music's so good. And then I came out and literally it was like the second I stepped through the Omniplex door, I was like, it's alright. But like while the movie was on, I was like, you liked the music, the movie was whatever. This is great. It's not just the music, it's like the way it's presented. It's very, 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 like, this sounds so pretentious, but like as a movie, it's great. As a film, it's not so great. Like,
so like it's what you're telling me is they made a good album with video album.
So I think for general audience people, they're all gonna love it. Like, love it.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough if that's what you're going in for. But it's the most surface level thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's nothing of substance.
No.
Yeah.
Most of the film's conflict is around his relationship with his dad. When Coleman Domingo plays his dad.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. But like a lot of the time his dad says, I think twice in the movie he says like, oh, everything I do is for my family. Right? So I thought it was going to be like, they're going to show, like, because the movie presents him as like, I'm evil, look at me, I'm Joseph Jackson, I'm evil. And I was like, oh, they're going to have a scene now where he's like, he reveals why he thinks everything's for his family, and they're going to show like, even though he's a bad person, he was trying to do the right thing. No, he's just mustache twirling evil. And Michael Jackson, he's perfect. Right, he has no flaws. He has no flaws. So like when you're in the movie,
all of the marketing for this movie was kind of like, well, Michael was a special person.
But
he, wherever he danced, it turned to marshmallows, and whenever he cried, it snowed.
That's the way it is in the movie. But like when you're watching the movie as well, you're like, this is really entertaining. Like, and when I put up my review for it last night, I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars, so like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And someone messaged me. I was like, oh, I seen it, man. You're wrong. He was like, minimum 4.5 out of 5, minimum. He's like, why didn't you like it? I told him all my points, and he was like, actually, no, did you say that? That's valid. Like, it's very, very, very. And there's times where you're like, oh, they're about to go a bit deeper, and they just don't. They just
don't prick through the ice.
And then, like, I really enjoyed it. But like, it's just too like,
you couldn't recommend it to someone who likes cinema.
Also, right?
Yeah.
Right? This annoyed me. It shouldn't annoy me, right? Michael Jackson's not the youngest brother of the Jackson 5. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The movie, he's the youngest brother. And also,
why'd they do that? Make it more endearing?
I don't know why they did that. But also in the movie,
weird alternate history.
They're missing one of his sisters from the movie as well. But that's because she was like, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to be in it at all. But so I was like,
now it's
fair
fiction.
enough.
Now it's fiction. It's not based on a true story.
But I was like, that's fair enough, right? But then, so like, you're going to the movie then as well, and they present the Jackson 5 as like, it's Michael Jackson, and then the Jackson 5 are just in the background playing instruments.
But
that's not what it was.
Like
they were all singing.
Yeah.
I was like, if that's the case, like, when he went to go solo, there should have been no more Jackson 5. Like, yeah. Whatever. But like, I'll get you up my review for here. So I'll give you a bit of a read of what I said.
Sure.
So I said, I've seen some crazy method acting in my life, but Jafar Jackson using a Ouija board to have his uncle take over his body is on another level. Because, man,
he embodies the man.
Definitely getting an Oscar nomination.
That's awesome.
It was like Michael Jackson was there. I was like, he seriously becomes Michael Jackson, and the rest of the performance are very good too, especially Coleman Domingo as Joseph Jackson. And this guy's getting no praise, but like, he was just as good in my opinion, is Giuliano Validi, because he plays young Michael. Mm-hmm. I said it's a weird one because from an entertainment perspective, it's amazing, especially the music, which are 10 out of 10, perfect, like sheer enjoyment. But this is a very surface level film. It hints at deeper things, but it never goes for it. I as well thought this was something that should have been hinted on. It wasn't. It never. His brothers all have like one line. Never explores the relationship with his brothers. Like how?
What?
Yeah. How would they? How would they have felt about him going solo and becoming the biggest pop star in the world?
Well, you won't find out here.
Yeah. Like I would have liked to see what his brothers were relationship like. What did they think of his success? Also, this is the problem. It's a 2-act movie. Because there was a whole third act and they cut it.
I heard that.
They chopped it because the Jackson estate were like, no, you can't go into that. So there's a whole third act missing. So the movie, in fact,
was it shot or was it just in the script?
Shot, yeah. I think it was shot. So the movie just, in fact, ends. But see, to be fair, considering they had to cut a whole third of the film, they did a good job at salvaging the rest of it to try and make it a conclusive movie. There's going to be a part 2. Because at the end it says his story continues, but I don't see that going any deeper. But part 2 is where it should really go deeper, because that's when he started getting the allegations and stuff.
Yeah, but they've said that they've pretty much said that they're not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, so but this movie as well, there's a lot of stuff. There's like 3 different scenes of like him visiting sick kids and stuff like that, and like I'm like, oh, maybe it's gonna like, not say that like he did these things or he didn't do these things. I was like, maybe they're gonna leave it like
unclear
to your kind of interpretation of what happened and stuff. Yeah. But it very much when we visit the sick kids of like, no, nothing happened. He was just a good person and all this stuff. And it never hints at that. And then there's so like some of the dialogue as well was like really like when it took me out of the movie. But like as well, he keeps saying, he's like, oh, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid anymore. But then they keep showing you like he had like his whole life he just wanted to be a kid and stuff. Like. Yeah. But then as well, there was like,
oh man, this is so fucking weird. Dude.
It's hard to talk about because it is good, but it's also bad. Like but like,
it makes me feel gross.
But I think it makes me feel gross. I think for general people who like don't really care about movies deeply or anything, they're gonna go and they go like, that was great. And then other people who are like actually think about them a little bit more, like not in a good or bad way, they're gonna come out going, oh, I wish they just would have delved a little bit deeper and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the last, I would say. This is like, would you even say it's a spoiler? Because it's a movie based on real life events, so it's not really a spoiler, is it? If I say this, like,
I wouldn't say so. The audience can make up their own minds.
So, if you think me talking about Michael Jackson's life, which you can just Google now, like, is a spoiler then? But like, the movie like sets up. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna look my dad in the eye and telling him I'm doing my own thing, and he doesn't do that. And then when he fires his dad later on, he's like, I'm gonna go and look him in the eye, but he gets his manager to fire him. So then the end is like him and his bodyguard, who's a bit of a standout character. He was like, you just need to look him in the eye and just say like, this is it. Yeah. And so I was like, the end of the movie, he's going to look his dad in the eye and he's going to say he's going to say, doesn't do it. Instead, he goes on stage and tells the world this is the Jackson 5's ending tour. And then when his dad comes out to confront him, he just pushes him away and literally runs off to go back on the stage. I'm like, what? Oh, it's just crazy, like. But the last sequence, he sings like 2 songs back to back. Yeah. And oh man, it was getting wild in the cinema when that was going on. People were loving it. Like,
funny. Yeah, I don't know. I feel gross about this whole film. Up and down, left, right, and center. Gross.
But like, if you're gonna make like, I guess you can't you can't go into it and be like, oh, Michael Jackson, like, did all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're gonna make a movie about him, because the family wouldn't allow that. But you also can't go into it and be like, he was perfect, because no one's perfect.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if he did any of this shit. But
yeah, because there's been allegations.
Like, if you're not,
he's never been found.
I'll be honest with you, like, you really, in my eyes, to not touch on it whatsoever.
You can't, like,
it's gross. That's gross.
You can't do the whole movie and not like talk about it, like. Especially when they showed him visiting the kids, and then when they showed like his room with all the toys and stuff, and I was like, they're gonna like hint at it, but not go into it and stuff. And then it's just weird they never did. Like, it's crazy. Like. But even after that, though, like if once you listen to Michael Jackson music, it's gonna get you, because I've been listening to Michael Jackson music nonstop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, don't worry, it'll make his estate plenty of money.
But it's weird. But like, I'm interested now to see what they call part 2, or what they're gonna do with part 2. Yeah. But it's not gonna go any deeper. But I have a feeling they're going to name part 2 Jackson, so it'll be Michael Jackson. But if anything, this movie should have been called Jackson, because it's about him escaping the Jackson family. And then the other one should be called Michael when he goes on his own. That's just minor thing. I thought I was smart.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But I'll be interested to see what they do with part 2.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're going to do.
We'll see.
But the acting was great. Amazing.
Yep.
But as well, there was like some things as well in the movie where they're like, oh, we have to like touch on this, so we're going to have to throw a line in here. So like when his dad is like beating him at the start of the movie, he's like, big nose. He says that once. And then it's like, oh, so his dad's going to be like the reason he got like plastic surgery. He says it once, and it's like, you just kind of be like, oh, maybe that's why he got a nose reduction surgery. But like, they don't build it up to it, John. So
I just feel like biographies like this.
There's also one.
They assume so much bullshit.
There's also one scene where he's reading Peter Pan when he's a kid.
Yeah.
And they show you a picture of Peter Pan from the book. And it's basically just what Michael Jackson ended up looking like when he was older. Do you know when he was like white and
so
stuff?
like this was his
but
ideal.
Like, it's like someone drew that Peter Pan to look like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's very like in your face, like, and it's like, But it's a hard one because I liked it, but I also didn't like it. It's really straight.
To be honest, man, listening to this has been fucking harrowing. I hate everything about this.
But then if you watched it, like when the music scenes come on, you just kind of forget all that, and you're just like,
that's gross too. That's gross to me. I don't like it. Yuck.
They did like side by side as well of like Jafar Jackson doing like the Thriller music video compared to the.
I saw
compared
like a
to the thing,
yeah.
and it's like shot for shot, but he misses like one step, and I seen him beam this morning. It's like Joseph Jackson in heaven, like with his sniper, and he's like ready to take down his grandson for missing one step. Like.
Oh man, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this movie.
It's also making hella money. But like, if you compare that to the Bruce Springsteen one that a lot of people didn't watch last year, like Deliver Me From Nowhere, that doesn't paint Bruce Springsteen out to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, he went through depression and stuff, but it very much shows you, like, this is what he dealt with, but, like, this is how he affected everyone else in his life because of that. It doesn't, like, beat around the bush, like, you know?
I don't know, man.
But as well, if you watch, this is produced by the same crowd who made Bohemian Rhapsody. That's very much sanitized one as well, like.
It is, yeah.
Whereas when you watch something like Straight Outta Compton, they don't beat around what went on there.
What's so fucked up about like the sanitization of it as well is I brought that up to my sister. We were talking about this, and she went, "That's not sanitized." And I was like, "Yeah, it's working.
Yeah,
it's fucked." That's just one person, but I was just like, "Damn."
Have you seen Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah.
About the NW. That was good, but that doesn't like make them out to be perfect at all.
No, but I still think it's sanitized.
Oh, it definitely is, like, but. They're not going to let you make them unless you sanitize some of it. Which
look, I can forgive some of that as an anti-establishment film.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. That whole thing just makes me feel gross.
Well, there's a scene with a producer in it, and he's like, he starts talking. I was like, is that Mike Myers? And I turned to my cousin. I was like, that's Mike Myers. He was like, no, it's not Mike Myers. Google afterwards, it was Mike Myers. But Mike Myers was in the Bohemian Rhapsody film as well. So I was like, oh, they're hardly doing the biopic cinematic universe here. With Mike Myers as the Nick Fury. Like.
That's funny. Well, that's it for this week. Yeah. That's what we got.